The brother spoke excellent in the spirit. He told you about the unholy day that's coming up called Christmas. It has absolutely nothing to do with Christ or the Mashiach. Here's a problem to deal with the English language, right? There's a word called an anagram, right? An anagram is the same letters, it's just mixed up and makes another word. Like the word war, W-A-R, is also raw, right? It has another meaning, right? So you got to ask yourself a question, who Santa Claus is. Me and the brother just spoke about it earlier. He knows when you've been sleeping. He knows whether you've been bad or good, for be good for goodness sakes. That's what we attribute to the Most High God. So now if you take that anagram and the name Santa, it spells Satan.
That's right.
We say, oh, the devil's red. What color does Santa wear? Red. Because the name means Satan.
That's right.
We say the white man's the devil. What color is Santa? White. And wears red. And his name spells Satan.
That's right.
And has the attributes of God because that's who he's trying to be. So that's why we're telling you that you shouldn't be celebrating these holidays. But then we got to ask, then you got to say yourself, well, what does that mean to me? We're going to tell you how it operates and then what it means to you. Could you give me Deuteronomy 28:68? Because 90%, maybe less, of your ancestors were brought here on ships as slaves. And the Bible tells you that. They won't read that in church because they have too many white people to look up to.
That's
too
right.
much money to make, so they can't tell you that you're the people of the book. Because the day you find out you're the people of the book, they know you're going to rebel. And the only defense white supremacy has is black self-hate.
That's right.
If you keep hating and killing each other, he can stand by and operate like he's supposed to. The minute you find out that you're kings and queens, that you're gods on this earth, his system starts to self-destruct, which is what's happening now. He was counting on us to hate each other when all of this took place with Floyd and everything else. But what happened? We started to see him for who he is. The Most High gave us the internet so we can get information quicker. So now we see who he is. So what does he do? Black Lives Matter, all about lesbians and pedophiles. Everything now is to blame the black man. Why? Because you niggas aren't hating each other. So I got to make you hate each other so you stop looking at me. I got to make you stand in a circle and point at each other, not see the man that's outside the circle operate. But we're going to prove that it has something to do with you. Go ahead. Deuteronomy 28:68.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68.
I don't know why I got this mic. Go ahead, bro.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt with ships.
So the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt with ships. Northeast Africa, there's no such thing as the Middle East. Northeast Africa, Egypt is a part of Africa. Israel is connected to Egypt, which means Israel is a part of Africa also. The reason he came up with the Middle East was so there was nothing identifiably black about the place he's trying to say he came from. This man has the highest skin cancer rate in Israel in the world, but he's from there. He's an Israeli, not an Israelite. Ite means of an origin. He's an Israeli. He's Jewish. Ish means like or close to or trying to be, an approximate. He's not an Israelite as you and I are. But again, Egypt with ships. So if Israel is connected to Egypt, you don't need a boat to go there. So now the Most High must be talking about a different place. Go ahead, continue on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now that we know it's not talking about the same place, because you can walk to Egypt from Israel, depending on where you are, he has to be talking about someplace further that you need a boat to take it to. Did our ancestors not arrive here on ships? Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Because he promised these things were going to happen to us for breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You won't see your home anymore again. Originally where we came from, right? Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Key. And there, the place you go with ships, you will be sold to your enemies. Did that not happen in the United States?
That's right.
Is the Bible not true in that? Go ahead.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. For bondmen,
slave men,
and bondwomen,
slave woman. Go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
No man shall be able to free you. This is why all our great leaders came up and they were assassinated, because the word of God said no man can buy you or free you. That's why we get to a height and we go back to hopelessness. This is why the Most High says he loves a contrite heart and a broken heart, because he has to break us back down. Because if we think we're something and we approach a king who created everything, how's he going to treat us? Who do you think you are coming before me? So I got to break you back down into nothing and build you back up, right? So now let's go back into who it's supposed to be. Could you give me that, come for the law sheet, Matthew? Or wherever you get it at. So now let's go into the Mashiach, Christ, right? I want to show you something with how the Bible deals, because everybody says the Bible's about everybody. It's not. It's about the children of the Most High God, the Israelites. It's not about anybody else. Let me know when you get it, bro. So again, we're going to show you. So Christ came for who? A specific group of people. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24.
Go ahead.
But he answered and said,
right?
I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Notice that. I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That is a specific group of people. The lost sheep of the house of Israel. So that means we're lost. So not only were we physically lost because we were scattered abroad throughout the world, we were mentally and spiritually lost also because we didn't know who we were. So he was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But notice his journey took him into all the places around. We dealt with the Greeks during that time, right? He was looking for. So when is location important when looking for lost people? The location is important because I want to know to find you if you're missing the last place you were. And after I find the last place you were, I want to get a specific. Oh, well, he was at the store, right? So, okay, I last saw him in Boston and he was at the store. So pay attention to that. In Boston, at the store. So now go to Romans chapter 1 and verse 7. So now we're going to deal with the English language. Because in order to start to understand how things were written, we have to understand the language we speak. Everybody, oh, you got to understand Hebrew. You got to understand the original language. If I was brought up speaking English, the least I could do is master the language that I speak before I start trying to travel into something else. Go ahead.
The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 7.
Go ahead. And remember, Christ is looking for the lost sheep. Go ahead. This is Paul speaking.
To all that be in Rome.
To all that be in Rome. Now we have a location. Right? The word in is an adjective when it's used for location, trying to find out where you are. So it's important. In Rome. So Rome in this context is important. To who? Read it again.
To all that be in Rome.
Notice, if he was talking about the Romans, why wouldn't he say to the Romans? He said to all that be in Rome.
That's right.
He could have said, oh, if he was talking about America, oh, to all the Americans. No, no, no. The black people in America. So I'm looking for a specific group in a specific location. Is there more to that?
To all that be in Rome.
Go ahead.
Beloved of Yahweh.
Beloved of God. So to all that be in Rome, beloved of God. Because the history known of Rome is what? Homosexuality, pedophiles. So why would Christ be looking for homosexuals and pedophiles? He's not. Now skip down to verse, I think 15 is what I want.
Verse 15.
Go ahead.
So as much as in me as I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are in Rome also.
To you that are in Rome also, right? In addition to you that are in Rome. Let me see something real quick. Let me see. Turn to verse 7 real quick. Slock, go ahead. Looking for act. Let's see. Verse 7. Slock, give me 1 sec. I go to 15 again? When I got to do... Oh, go ahead. Read 15 again. Slock. Give me again. Hold up. Let me give you that preface again. So we know we're in Rome. And he's looking for the people in Rome. He did not say Roman. So read 15 again. Read it a little slower for me because I missed it.
The book of Romans, chapter 1, verse 15.
Go ahead.
So as much as in me is... So as much as in me is, I am ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome.
So notice, I'm ready to preach the gospel to you that are at Rome. So now we establish what country we're in. I'm not looking for the Romans. I'm looking for the ones in Rome. So now, what's your name, bro? Art? Arthur, right? So now we say Arthur's in Delaware, right? So in order to find you, if you were lost, I need to know the place that you were in, right? So Delaware is important. Now we're in Delaware. Do I need to know about Delaware anymore? Delaware is no longer important. So now I need to know where was Arthur last. Arthur's at the store. Is the store important or the person I'm looking for? He said those that be at Rome. So now I know where you are. Now I need to know your last location. That's why he said I'm looking for the lost sheep. He would have said Romans if he was looking for Romans. He would have said Galatians if he was looking for Galatians. But sometimes we switch and use that name because just like we're here, right? When he talks about a whole, we're Americans too, but we know we're not from here, right? So this is what's happening with the Bible. The book of Romans is not addressed to specifically the Romans. It is addressed to the lost sheep that live in Rome.
That's right.
Hebrews is not a location. Hebrews is a people. So when he's talking about Hebrews, he's talking about the Hebrew people, the Israelites specifically, right? So now give me what do I want? 2 Corinthians 11 and 22. Paul says he's an Israelite. I think that's what it is, right? Is that second? Philippians 3 and 5 too. Whichever one you find first. It's first? Okay, go ahead. But whatever you get first. So now, so Arthur, so far we're on the same page, right? That he wasn't addressing the Romans. He was addressing the people in Rome at a specific location. What was it? Philippians 3 and 5? 3 and 5, we get that. So now let's talk about Paul, right? So everybody they said that followed Christ, what did they call them? They called them Christians, right? The question is, did the apostles call themselves Christian? See, they were called Christian by the people that lived around them because they followed the anointed one. That's all that means. So it doesn't have to be Christian. It's that you follow the anointed one. Okay, so this is what Paul says about himself.
The book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 5. Circumcise the 8th day.
Circumcise the 8th day, which is a Jewish law, Israelite law. Go ahead.
Circumcise the 8th day.
Because he was male. Go ahead.
Of the stock of Israel.
Of the stock of Israel. That's where I come from. This is Paul. Of the stock of Israel. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of Benjamin. So not only did he know he was from that stock, he knew which tribe he was from. Go ahead.
And Hebrew of the Hebrews.
So I was a Hebrew of the Hebrews. So Paul is not addressing himself as a Christian, but as an Israelite. Go to Romans chapter 9 and 4. So now we're going to see who Paul addresses, right? Because what's the importance of knowing Israelites in a Christian book, right? The name Christian is mentioned in there, what, 4 times max? And the only one, I think, which was it, Pilate or was it Antiochus who said, that makes me want to be Christian? You make me want to be a follower of the anointed. That's all that means. Christianity is a religion based off Israelites' laws.
That's right.
It has nothing, it relates to the Bible by name, but as far as doctrine is concerned, it's completely off. Right. Go ahead, read that.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3.
Go ahead, 4. Break 4. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Did you want to start? Go ahead, read 3. Go ahead.
Verse 3.
Go ahead.
For I wish that myself were cursed from Yahushua for my brethren.
So hold up. So now Paul is saying, I wish that I was accursed for my brethren. So he wished that he was cursed on behalf of his brothers. Go ahead.
For I wish that I were cursed for Yahushua.
Who do we call Christ?
For my brethren. My kinsmen.
My brethren, my kinsmen, meaning of the same blood. Go ahead.
My kinsmen, according to the flesh.
According to the flesh. So not only did he say it was his brother, it's my kin, according to the flesh. So he's speaking literal relation. Go ahead.
Who are Israelites?
Christians.
Israelites.
Muslims.
Israelites.
Buddhists.
Israelites.
So Paul said his brother, his kinsmen, and his tribes are Israelites. Go ahead.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
To whom pertaineth the adoption. These are lost people. We were divorced from the Most High God because he broke his laws, statutes, and commandments. So we have to be adopted back into that covenant. Go ahead.
And the glory.
And the glory of the coming king and kingdom. Go ahead. Belongs to the Israelites. Go ahead.
And the covenant.
And the agreements between the Most High belongs to the Israelites. Go ahead.
And the giving of the law.
We give the law, which is why the church don't do it. Because the Israelites give the law. The church can't give the law. Go ahead.
And the service of Yahweh.
And the service of the king we are to do. Go ahead.
and the promises.
And all that he promised belongs to the Israelites. So remember, when we read in Deuteronomy, the Israelites came by way of ship and were slaves. So what we're saying is, you are those Israelites. You are those lost people that Christ was looking for.
That's right.
You are the ones that were in Rome at the store that he was looking for.
That's right.
We are those people. The book is for us and about us serving our king. And now that we know who our king is and what we're supposed to do, which is keep his laws, statutes, commandments, and the faith of the Messiah, we then become obligated to serve him. And when we know what we're supposed to do, we get the things that we've been asking for. And when we know what we're supposed to do, we get the punishment we deserve when we go off. So a lot of people like to play with the Most High. They're like, nah, you know, those laws is too deep. But guess what? You know about the laws, and now you got to pay for it because you ignored it.
That's right.
The moment you said, nah, that's too deep, he already knew. You know what's supposed to be happening right now. You're not doing it. So it's better to be in his word than be outside of it. Right? So a lot of times what you hear in the church is church. You don't hear the Bible. You might hear one or two verses that might have to deal with what they're talking about, but you learned church. You did not learn the Bible, because everything we say somehow counters everything the church is saying, and we only read from the book.
That's right.
The church will open up and celebrate Christmas where it's not in there. The church will do Easter and it's not in there. No, it's in there, but Herod, the wicked ruler, is celebrating Easter. That's trying to kill Christ. They celebrate Easter. Right? Right. They celebrate, what is that?
Halloween.
Oh, Halloween. I thought you said hallelujah now. I ain't hear that one. Right, and celebrate Halloween now. And we know naturally that's wicked. Costumes, you know what? That's good for black people. We try to be anyone but ourselves. So you imagine how great Halloween is, where we could put on a costume and not be trapped in this black skin and be a superhero or something important to somebody, that we're so looking for a costume to put on. And that's how white supremacy works also.
That's right.
The people, I'm not knocking people with a college education, and that's great, and you did good things. But what you are is a broken Negro.
That's right.
You are a European in black skin because it's based off their system.
Yes.
Right? So this is what happened to the Israelites. They were sent to Greece, right? And they became educated in Greece and loved the lifestyle. And what happened? Then when the truth came, they didn't want it. Because it's telling you to detach from the very thing that you set your whole life on. And that's what's happening now. The Lord is destroying the world around you in hopes, well, he doesn't have to hope, but in hopes that you figure out it's not about this. I'm going to destroy this. That man that you think is God is falling before your eyes, and you still attached to him.
That's right.
Envy not thou oppressor. He is oppressing us. Even though he's not, well, he is physically doing it at the moment because he's killing us in the streets. You give me that in, where am I going with that? Hey, go ahead. Yes, thank you, Zechariah 11:5. He's killing us in the streets, so that's a form of oppression. When he puts on his commercials, we're starting to see what? Black women with white and Spanish men. When we see Black Lives Matter, it's against black men.
That's right.
Everything you see on these commercials are against black men. So we're already in a low state, and they want to push us further into the ground. So what happens? With welfare and all these systems, what do? The first thing they wanted to do is take the black male out of the home. The woman can't get her benefits unless that black man is out of the home. That was the first strike to start to break us up. And then the advertisements and the subliminal messages come in to further separate us, to make us look weaker and raise the woman up, which is also against the Bible. Because the man is supposed to lead. Give me that Zechariah 11:5.
Zechariah 11, verse 1.
Tell me this is not happening today with the police. Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them.
Hold. So we came here by way of ships, right? And we haven't left. So these people are our possessors. They're holding us here. We are a possession to them, right? Go ahead. Whose possessors killed them, slay them? Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them,
right?
And hold themselves not guilty.
So wait a minute. So the people that possess us here kill us and hold themselves not guilty. Every time a cop shoots us, who is our possessor, who is a white man that brought us here, he holds himself not guilty. Right. Every time we bring up slavery and talk about what happened to us, they say we didn't do it, get over it. They're holding themselves not guilty. That's how they operate. That is why we call him the devil in the flesh, because that's how the devil operates. He is anti-truth. He is naturally anti-Christ. Go ahead. Did I give you something else? You got a priest? Go ahead. Whatever you got. Oh, you got? Go ahead.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
Right.
And they that sell them.
Now notice, this is how you know it's the same people. So the possessors who possess us here, we came here by way of ships, kill us and hold themselves not guilty. And they what?
And they that sell them.
And they that sell them. They that sell them, go ahead.
Say, blessed be Yahweh.
So they that sell us say, blessed be God. Go ahead.
For I am rich.
For I am rich off these niggas' backs. Go ahead.
And their own shepherds.
And their own shepherds, their preachers, Al Sharpton, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Go ahead.
Pity them not.
Don't even pity them. When was the last time they even spoke? They don't speak because Al Sharpton got a cushy job now. What is he on? NBC, CNN, or whatever the case is? Jesse Jackson's super old. Every one of them, they no longer speak. So they're shepherds. They don't pity us anymore. Nobody pities us. There is no one left. There are no leaders left. That's why he said, no one shall free you but the Most High God and his Messiah. So he has to take away everything in order for you to see the reality that you have no hope outside of him or outside of his word.
That's right.
Because he's asking the question, no, I'm saying this, Most High forgive. How much do I have to take away from you to figure out it's not you? You're not going to help yourself. I have to come down there and help you. When you recognize who you are and who you are to me, I will shine that light down there. Right. I'll stop it. I'll destroy these people. You don't have the power to do it without me. And when you acknowledge who I am and you keep my laws, statutes, commandments, and the faith in my son, I'll give you the strength. Because he also said, at your hands will you destroy the enemy. So he's going to give us the power to take them down. But he's going to crumble it first. He's like, it's like sending in the Marines first. Going to break you down, and then the troops come in and finish them off. That's what he's trying to do with us. That's why he says he's trying to raise up an army, a great nation. Can you pull that? You know what I said? Ezekiel 37? Good. So he's trying to raise a great army out of these people who are impoverished, who are at low levels in every single thing. It kills me that people don't realize what's happening around them. It kills me that you don't realize what's happening around you with these white people. And we're not racist, we're just calling it what it is.
That's right.
That's just what it is. The people that you see doing all this are white people, right? It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? It says that in Job 9:24. We don't control the earth. The earth is run by white people. If it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked and white people control it, then who's the wicked according to the Bible?
The white man.
That's not, there you go.
Right.
That's not racist, that's observation. Go ahead.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37.
Go ahead.
Verse 9.
Go on.
Then said he unto me,
right?
Prophesy unto the wind.
So that's what we're doing out here, because some people are listening and some people are not. So he said, prophesy to the wind. So we'll speak whether people stop or not, but we appreciate that you do. And that voice will be carried because it's in the wind. Go ahead.
Prophesy unto the wind.
Go ahead.
Prophesy, son of man.
Prophesy, son of man. Ezekiel, go ahead.
And say to the wind. Thus saith the power Yahweh.
So thus saith the Lord, the Most High God.
Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain.
And breathe upon these slain, because we are dead in this community. We are dead in this world. How are we dead? We have no real identification. Whatever they call us, that's what we are. If they feel like tomorrow changing it to nigga, guess what we're going to be called on paper. So that's why when you fill out an application, they give you the choice of what you are, not who you were and who you're supposed to be. So we are slain as a people. We are dead. We are ambulatory. We're moving. And somniatic, we're sleepwalking, basically is what happening. We're moving and we're sleepwalking. So it's whatever they say, that's who we are. Go ahead. So we're slain as a people. We have no identity apart from Europeans. Go ahead.
Come forth from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain.
So it wants the breath of the Most High to breathe upon the dead people. Go ahead.
That they may live.
Breathe upon the people that we may live. The same thing he did in the beginning when he took the clay and breathed into the nostrils is the same thing he's doing with us now. The only difference is we're formed and lost the spirit. He's trying to give it back to us. Go ahead.
So I prophesied as he commanded me.
So we come out in the streets and do as he told us to do. Go ahead.
And the breath came into them.
And then the breath came into them. You know what that comes in like? You might not notice it. You might not feel wind go in your nostrils. But when that point is made and it matches the Bible, you get that tingling feeling. That awakeness and that alertness comes in. You say, you know what? That makes sense. That's that breath coming in you. Go ahead.
So I prophesied as he commanded me.
Go ahead.
And the breath came into them.
Go ahead.
And they lived.
And they live. You don't begin living until you figure out who you are. You don't begin living until you figure out that you're the people of the Bible and the God of the Bible looks like you.
That's right.
He does not look like Europeans. Go ahead.
That's right.
And they lived and stood up upon their feet.
And we lived and stood up upon our feet, because once we figure out who we are, who we belong to, and who our power is, we stand. When we have people behind us, we realize we have united front, we stand and we lose fear. So the breath of life was breathed on them, and we stood up. Go ahead.
And they lived.
And we lived. Go ahead.
And stood up upon their feet.
Right.
And are an exceeding great army.
And when we stand upon our feet, we become an exceeding great army. Read that again.
And they lived.
And they lived.
And stood up upon their feet.
And what?
An exceeding great army.
An exceeding great army. The army of God.
That's right.
That's who you become when you learn the word. That's who you become when you remember who you are, because they purposely made us forget who we are. Because if we remembered who we were, they would not be able to stand against us. So they're afraid of it. So they keep the ghettos the way it is. They keep the liquor store at every corner. They keep the church at every corner. They manufacture the clothes that our women wear walking around half naked, because we don't have the production. So it's them, but we keep looking at ourselves as our own enemy. And we are our own enemy when we attack and hurt each other. But if we pause and actually turn around and be like, wait a minute, you're doing this. It's not me. You're the one that did this. You made me think I'm like this. So real quick, I'm going to say this before I go out, right? We talk about music and we talk about other things, and they steal stuff from us. They say culture vultures, right? They're not so much a culture vulture because we're in their environment.
That's right.
And we're a product of their environment.
That's right.
And all they know is money and business. Right. So they had a product that they made and produced. So what they're looking for is interest on their product. And we, the product, are called niggas. Is a product of America. We weren't niggas until we came here. Real niggas until we came here. So we're a product of this environment. So a vulture is just looking for the meat that's left from the product he produced. Dying flesh. So he looks, all right, these niggas are almost finished. What could we get from them that we made them do? Hip hop is not our culture. We didn't have that when we were in our homeland. Thames ain't our culture either. Nothing we do here is our culture except for what the Bible says. And at least the Muslims and others at least have that little bit. We have nothing. And that was described in the Bible because we are the chosen people. And when we recognize and remember who we are, we get everything back and this kingdom falls. Look forward to that. I'm going to say shalom, pass to the next one.
Shalom. Shalom.
Wake him up.